In New Orleans, the mayor says thousands of people could be dead, and it will be months before the city of New Orleans is fit once again for living. In Mississippi, the devastated communities that have still not been reached. So many people are missing. The storm has already had widespread economic impact. Gas prices are spiking across the country. And the patch of land that might as well be heaven, the extraordinary joy of finding a place where the cell phone actually works. Tonight, Hurricane Katrina becomes a national crisis. A special edition of World News Tonight.
From ABC News, this is World News Tonight. Reporting from ABC News headquarters, Charles Gibson.
Good evening. The massive scale of recovery from Katrina that's going to be necessary is becoming clear. The number of dead is still unknown, but all indications are it will be high. People still in New Orleans, if they looked to the skies this morning, saw Air Force One, the president flying over for a personal look at the devastation. His plane was low, just over the city skyline. What he saw is the largest single domestic challenge the country has faced since 9/11. Today, the mayor of New Orleans said that hundreds, perhaps even thousands of people in the city are dead. Bodies are being left floating in the floodwaters. The emphasis is all on rescuing the stranded. Evacuation of people still in the city will be coming in the next few days. It is becoming clear, however, that New Orleans will not be livable for months to come. And the president said full recovery could take years.
We are dealing with one of the worst natural disasters in our nation's history. The country stands with you. We'll do all in our power to help you. May God bless you.
Our reporters are again all along the Gulf Coast tonight, and we begin with ABC's Bob Woodruff in New Orleans.
Charlie, you're seeing a piece of what the city looks like tonight. The floodwaters, the smoke, the fire trucks. Police say that looters actually set that shoe store on fire. I have to say I've seen a lot of disasters both here in the United States and overseas, and I've never seen an American city quite like this. It has gone from bad to worse. Scene after scene of utter desperation. A woman pushed along in a plastic box, another dragged on a raft. A family trapped on a balcony, a stadium full of water. Hundreds, maybe thousands across the city from every ledge, it seemed, a cry for help. People huddled on top of houses and apartment buildings. Others waved from the backs of pickup trucks. Those who could reach the city's elevated highways wandered along, carrying on their backs all that they had left. How long have you been walking for?
About at least 3 hours.
Help is on the way, but it will take days before 4 Navy ships carrying medicine, food, and water reach the city.
Seeing mile after mile homes get destroyed, it's just devastating, and I know they're going to need some help.
The Coast Guard continued to pluck survivors from the rooftops today, trying to slip between the power lines. Rescue boats zigzagged through flooded streets which had become canals. Officials said they were too busy trying to reach the living to begin a search for the dead.
We're seeing dead bodies laying around, and one wonders, when the water finally does recede, will we find 1,000 dead people, or will it be thousands of dead people?
The Superdome, home to 20,000 storm-weary people, is surrounded by water. Inside, the toilets and air conditioning are broken. Buses are being loaded to move them to the Astrodome in Houston.
I've asked the president to give us all the resource possible today. We need his help today, and I believe help is on the way.
Flooded neighborhoods stretch for miles around the downtown. Poorer communities to the southeast were especially hard hit. Looting is widespread. Police stop them when they can, but most of it is going undeterred in broad daylight.
You think it's okay to take that? You stole it.
Army engineers are trying to reinforce the 2 broken levees by dropping 3,000-pound bags of sand. But more helpful has been Mother Nature. The floodwaters are beginning to recede with the tide.
The good news here is that we've stabilized. Water is not rising in the city.
But the water that is there is contaminated and of growing concern.
We have dead bodies in the water. And at some point in time, those dead bodies are going to start to create a serious disease issue. So we need all the help we can.
Officials warn that it may be a month before they're able to drain the water from New Orleans, and several more months before residents will be able to return. Tonight, with all the desperation, it is clear that New Orleans' carefree days are over. Tonight, authorities are going to be watching roads like this to see which way the water is going. The other big concern tonight, Charlie, is violence. Police say there will certainly be gunfire again tonight, as there was last night. Charlie.
Bob Woodruff in New Orleans. Well, the Coast Guard and National Guard personnel have now rescued well over 2,000 people from the New Orleans flood zone, and as they're plucked from rooftops, the question occurs, where are they going and what happens to them? ABC's David Muir ran into some of those rescued in New Orleans, and in many cases, the rescue was only the beginning of their drama.
They've been landing one after another. Black Hawk helicopters carrying parents and their young children, the elderly, and patients from 5 area hospitals that went dark and began filling with water. A paramedic hands Tammy Gleason her newborn baby. She tried to get out of town before the hurricane, but turned back because of the traffic. She gave birth as the waters were rising in her temporary shelter.
I'll have a real story this house. She gets old.
The rescued children carried their belongings in backpacks as the guard pointed them to safety. Most of the evacuees were the people picked up from rooftops, from second-story windows. Patients from hospitals were taken by ambulance to Baton Rouge.
The worst thing we're seeing is dehydration because they've been on rooftops in the sun for 2 days. Yesterday, I would say we ran about 3,000 people through this spot, and I had no water and no food to give them.
And as supplies run short, so do the tempers. Sharon Peterson said she and her disabled aunt couldn't get out before the hurricane.
We were very lucky to have a college nearby that could rescue us and save us, because some people are still out there. There's tons. It's sad, very sad.
This mother searched the crowd for her children, who were with their father when Katrina hit. They're not here. You haven't heard anything?
No. The last time I talked to my children was Sunday night.
And sadly, we're hearing many stories like hers tonight. And there's a real concern this evening for many of the patients still in hospitals here in New Orleans. Charity Hospital, for one, is run by the state, still has nearly 1,000 patients inside. The power went out on Monday, and Charlie, they're using small generators to keep the critical care unit going, and they're not sure how much longer those generators will run.
David Muir also in New Orleans tonight. As Bob Woodruff reported, city officials in New Orleans said today the water in the city has stopped rising. The level of the floodwaters in New Orleans is now equal to the water level in Lake Pontchartrain, just to the north of the city. So the question's now to be answered: when can the levees that were supposed to protect the city be repaired? Then, when and how can the water be pumped out of the city? ABC's Jeffrey Kaufman tonight with some answers.
For 2 days, the water has been gushing from Lake Pontchartrain through a breach in a levee 100 yards wide. The levees that were supposed to hold back the water from a city that sits below sea level.
When Mother Nature hits with this type of power, there's only so much man can do to protect himself.
Levees like this, big and smaller, found all over New Orleans. They're often little more than piles of sand. The one that broke had a steel and concrete extension to make it taller.
Katrina's storm surge, estimated to have been 20 feet high, created enough pressure to breach the levees. Now they have to be fixed.
It will require a large, stable object to be placed in the breach that the water cannot move.
First, giant sandbags are being dropped into the breach, but they may not be enough. Next, they will try to plug it with more than 300 cement barriers. And if that fails, they'll try to sink a barge. When the levees are repaired and excess water pushes back to the Gulf of Mexico, water inside the city will be higher. That means engineers can begin to reverse the flow.
Once the lake level recedes to an acceptable level, then we will intentionally breach the levees and allow gravity to go ahead and take place and drain the actual water off the city.
Then the pumps take over. New Orleans thought huge pumping stations could hold back any deluge from the sea. Today, many of these pumps are waterlogged and inoperable. Once the pumps are reactivated, they can finish the process of draining. That could take weeks or months. Then the process of rebuilding begins. That could take years. Jeffrey Kaufman, ABC News, on the Mississippi upriver from New Orleans.
And now to Mississippi, where they are still trying to determine the magnitude of the destruction and the extent of the human loss. Both are enormous. ABC's Terry Moran got into a town today, Pass Christian, that until now had not been reachable. And when he got there, the town was gone. Terry?
Charlie, there are many communities, many places along this coast where emergency personnel still have not reached. We managed to make our way, as you say, to Pass Christian, and as the roads are opening, what we're finding, what the emergency personnel are finding, is almost beyond belief.
Pass Christian, Mississippi, the epicenter of Hurricane Katrina. There is nothing left here. Today, residents were struggling back to what were once their homes.
So the storm pushed this house a couple hundred feet?
Yes, sir.
Total wreck?
Yes.
Why are you here?
To find clothes for my mom and dad. They just left with what was on their back.
Along the Gulf Coast, the full extent of Katrina's fury is still being discovered. This morning, we came across a body on the side of the road, 48 hours after the storm. Someone had put a sheet to cover him. For the living, it is getting desperate.
How many? 6 people in the family?
In North Gulfport, the National Guard was distributing military rations to people who simply do not know where their next meal is coming from.
And we had a mob scene. There was no security here.
900,000 people are still without power. Gasoline is painfully scarce. Water systems are down throughout the region, and now health officials fear outbreaks of disease. Work crews from nearby military bases and private companies across the country are already rushing to the region. The task is overwhelming.
Mile after mile on the Gulf Coast looks like this. Total devastation. There's a stench of natural gas leaks and rotting garbage and who knows what else in the air. And thousands of homes wrecked. The cost in dollars and in lives is still to be reckoned.
Officials fear the death toll will reach into the hundreds. In Pass Christian and the other coastal towns, they know it will be bad.
Not hard to count them. You know, I know I pulled myself 3 that I know of, and there's just an untold number of them out there.
Rob Flory grew up here. He says he will leave now.
You know, you drag somebody to the rubble you grew up with. You know, it's pretty tough.
There is nothing left here.
The people you meet in Pass Christian, all in the communities along this coast, they just have no idea what will come next, what tomorrow will bring. Charlie?
Terry Moran in Mississippi. Throughout the flooded zones of Louisiana and the devastated areas of Mississippi, people were angry today, complaining that government help, critical supplies were nowhere to be found. The National Guard presence, now at 11,000, will reach 20,000 by the weekend. Today, the president said 5.4 million meals ready to eat were on the way. In addition, 3.5 million gallons of water, almost 3.5 tons of ice, 10,000 tarps, 135,000 blankets, 11,000 cots, and 144 generators. And, said the president, they're just getting started. When we come back, Katrina sends gas prices through the roof, anxiety about gas shortages. And in Iraq, fear, panic, and stampede. Nearly 1,000 people die as rumors sweeps through a crowd that a suicide bomber was about to strike.
This is World News Tonight, brought to you by Walmart.
This is my room.
Ready for college? Good thing Walmart and Walmart.com have everything for dorm rooms at their always low prices. So you can get your kid off to college the right way.
We're making choices to keep our cholesterol and blood pressure healthy.
More fish, less red meat.
And a new multivitamin.
One-A-Day Cholesterol Plus, the only complete multivitamin with polycosanol and key nutrients to help maintain cholesterol and blood pressure. One-A-Day Cholesterol Plus.
Now,
No, 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 no.
No, I'm not out!
Sadly, arthritis pain can mean the end of life's little pleasures. But not for people who use Aleve. People whose doctors have told them the good news about the strength and safety of Aleve. The good news that only Aleve can stop arthritis pain all day with just 2 pills. That would take 8 Tylenol. Take back the pleasure arthritis pain took away. Ask your doctor about the good news. Ask your doctor about Aleve.
Now make a 3-inch incision between the 4th and 5th abdominal muscles.
Shouldn't you be doing this?
Making important financial decisions on your own doesn't make much sense either. That's why Edward Jones prefers meeting clients face-to-face.
At Stouffer's, we flash freeze our vegetables soon after they're picked. It takes a little extra effort, but we think it's worth it. See what's cooking at Stouffer's.
As soon as Katrina hit, it was apparent gas prices would go up, and it's happened quickly. Already gas is approaching $4 a gallon in some places. Today, the Bush administration announced it will lend oil from the nation's strategic petroleum reserves to refineries to help make up for lost production. That news appears to have calmed some nerves. Crude oil actually closed down today. But until that oil is turned into gasoline, there might not be enough to go around. Here's ABC's Dean Reynolds.
In Atlanta today, anxiety that the city of 400,000 people will soon run out of gas.
That's it. Tomorrow's empty. Tomorrow morning, no more gas.
Georgia's governor urged everybody to give their cars a rest.
Any of those discretionary trips or driving that can be delayed, please do that until we're over this temporary threat.
But gas worries are not confined to the South. Pump prices are skyrocketing all across the country.
This is just a half a tank and it costs $40.
As a measure of Katrina's wake, fuel prices jumped more than 50 cents overnight in Ohio, 30 cents in Maine, a quarter in Seattle. Chicago inched closer to $4 a gallon amid official concerns about price gouging.
We're going to have thousands and thousands of cars that nobody can afford to drive.
In Mobile, drivers fearing even higher spikes lined up for hours and further drained supplies in the process. And the experts say, brace yourselves.
$5 a gallon is kind of the whisper number that I'm hearing. That's kind of the worst case scenario that we're hearing out there.
Hundreds of oil rigs are no longer extracting crude from the Gulf of Mexico. At least 8 major refineries are no longer turning the crude into gasoline. And 2 of the nation's biggest pipelines, carrying more than 2.7 million barrels of petroleum products to markets each day, have been idle this week. They say a partial resumption is the best they can hope for right now. The Colonial Pipeline, for example, runs 5,500 miles from the Gulf up the East Coast, and its power problems have affected fuel supplies for a quarter of the nation. So when might prices settle down?
This is a very complicated jigsaw puzzle we've got to put back together, and it's going to take some time.
But that's a very uncertain forecast, and uncertainty in the oil business, Charlie, is another factor that can lead to higher prices.
Dean Reynolds reporting from Chicago. And up next, in Iraq, a rumor of a suicide bomber proves more deadly than any actual bomber. Nearly 1,000 Iraqis die in a stampede.
With 3,800 students and a staff of 200, Carol is a formidable woman. But she was no match for something smaller than the point of a pencil. It knocked her out so fast she didn't know what hit her. It was a clot. Like Carol, if you've been hospitalized with heart-related chest pain or a certain type of heart attack, what doctors call ACS, chances are you've had a clot. But now, Carol's doctor is helping increase Carol's protection against heart attack and stroke by putting her on Plavix. Plavix, in combination with aspirin and other heart medicines, helps provide greater protection against heart attack and stroke than aspirin and other heart medicines alone by helping keep blood platelets from sticking together and forming clots.
If you have a stomach ulcer or other condition that causes bleeding, you shouldn't use Plavix. When taking Plavix alone or with some medicines, including aspirin, the risk of bleeding may increase. To minimize this risk, talk to your doctor before taking aspirin or other medicines with Plavix. Additional rare but serious side effects could occur.
Ask your doctor about Plavix today, because no matter how formidable you are, you're no match for a dangerous clot.
This is it, my time to shine. Getting better all the time. This is everything I wanted. This is it. This is just for me.
It targets only the gray hair, replaces it with subtle tones for a natural look in 5 easy minutes.
This is everything I wanted. This is just for men.
Do you want some dessert? Not with my metabolism. Yeah, in your 30s, your metabolism slows. What can you do? You know what I do? I eat right, exercise, and I switch to One-A-Day Weight Smart. It's a complete multivitamin with EGCG to help enhance metabolism. Every little bit helps. One-A-Day Weight Smart.
It's frustrating. Just when you're ready to relax, that's when it happens. The urge to move, along with uncomfortable sensations in your legs. They're hard to describe, but they can even keep you from getting to sleep. You feel the urgent need to get up and move, just to get some relief. There's a name for it, restless leg syndrome. And if you have it, you're among the nearly 1 in 10 U.S. adults who do. Want to know more? Visit restlesslegs.com or talk to your doctor.
Another new drink. Ingredients: inositol, maltodextrin, glucuronolactone, or Florida orange juice. Fresh air, rain, sunshine.
Florida orange juice. Healthy, pure, and simple.
Tomorrow, it's one of the worst natural disasters in our nation's history. But were decades of warnings ignored? For the latest on the devastating aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, the survivors, and the ongoing search and rescue mission, don't miss World News Tonight.
A world away from the hurricane in Iraq, an horrific scene. The government there says that 950 people died and more than 800 were injured on a bridge in Baghdad. Pilgrims were marching in a religious parade, packed shoulder to shoulder, when someone shouted, "Bomber, bomber." There was no bomber, but there was panic and a stampede, and people were trampled or drowned in the Tigris River below. ABC's Miguel Marquez has our report.
Shoes and sandals, piles of them, the remains of the dead and the dying. Thousands of Shiite Muslim pilgrims had packed onto a Baghdad bridge. When a rumor started that a suicide bomber was about to strike, it led to fear, then panic. The weakest, children, and the elderly were trampled and crushed. People jumped or were pushed into the Tigris River, 100 feet below. When an old man fell, says this witness, others just ran over him. Ambulances squeezed through crowds. Hospitals and morgues were overwhelmed. More than 1 million Shiite Muslims were on a pilgrimage to honor the death of Imam Musa al-Kadhim, a 9th century saint. Tonight, 2 powerful Shiite clerics are already blaming Sunni Muslims for starting the rumor of the suicide bomber. But for now, the grief is too great to worry about blame. Iraq's prime minister called for 3 days of mourning. Miguel Marquez, ABC News, Baghdad.
And when we come back, a bright spot in the hurricane zone, how a bridge leading to nowhere is actually helping the desperate make contact.
The Kia Amante. Rich leather, 9-speaker CD sound system, power everything. Spacious and comfortable. With 8 standard airbags and all backed by a 10-year warranty program. The Kia Amante Premium Sedan. It's time for everyone to start living big.
With my high blood pressure and cholesterol, I'm at a higher risk for a heart attack, so I exercise.
He could do more. His doctor said he should take Bayer. It can prevent 1 in 3 heart attacks. Be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen. Do more. Bayer.
If you have indoor or outdoor allergies, ask your doctor about something different. Singulair. While many allergy medicines block histamine, Singulair works differently by blocking leukotrienes, an underlying cause of allergy symptoms. And Singulair is now approved to help relieve both indoor and outdoor allergy symptoms for a full 24 hours. Side effects are generally mild and vary by age and may include headache, ear infection, sore throat, and upper respiratory infection. Singulair, a different way to treat indoor and outdoor allergies.
And now, more of the 10 big reasons to shop Big Lots this week. Reason number 10, comforters for just $10 each. Reason number 2, 4 packs of Hanes Her Way briefs, just $2 each. See all 10 amazing deals at Big Lots or BigLots.com. What's your deal today?
I am dedicated. I am disciplined. I am determined. And I'm a diabetic. And that's how I feel when I test with my meter, the Accu-Check Aviva.
The new Accu-Check Aviva system, designed to fill correctly and test right the first time, to make every strip count. The Accu-Check Aviva. Switch to the system that makes every strip count.
A rainforest, the ultimate torture test for your deck. Thompson's Water Seal Advanced, the ultimate protection. It seals out 99% of the water right from the start. For a longer-lasting deck, get the most powerful protection against water damage guaranteed. Thompson's Water Seal Advanced.
Lunesta. People everywhere are discovering it. What are you waiting for? Talk to your doctor to see if Lunesta could make a difference for you.
Why do you want to be president? The answer is that you want the power to control the universe.
That's not me.
Well, that's the problem.
Gina Davis is Commander-in-Chief. Premieres Tuesday, September 27th, 9/8 Central, only on ABC.
Tomorrow, a Good Morning America exclusive event. President Bush, Diane Sawyer, crisis on the Gulf Coast, the president's first television interview. What will President Bush do to respond? How fast can he bring relief? A must-see Good Morning America live from the White House tomorrow.
Finally tonight from the hurricane zone, how little things can take on enormous importance. ABC's Mike Von Frem today found some people in Mississippi who for days had been completely cut off from the rest of the world. No phones or cell phones. They could not let anyone know they were alive. And then they found a small patch of roadway where the cell phones actually worked.
Okay, that's good. Kathy Carson has 2 daughters in Knoxville she is frantic to reach. She's one of thousands here unable to tell loved ones they made it through the storm.
It's hard. We're going to get through.
The hurricane totally destroyed the bridge to Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. It really is the ultimate irony. Standing on the edge of a bridge that now leads to nowhere is the best place to communicate with the outside world.
Keep trying me on the cell phone.
Good service.
Okay? All right, I love y'all.
Whether it is around the world or around the corner, everyone is desperate to phone home. Who are you waiting to talk to now? Do you mind me asking?
This is my daughter in Oxford, Mississippi.
Have you got her?
Ole Miss, huh?
You're on the phone with her now?
Yes.
In a part of the country awash in so much tragedy, this is the one spot where there is some peace of mind. When you look at how many bars do you get? I mean, do you get...
Full. I'm asked. The bridge that leads nowhere helps us get somewhere.
Offering people here some pleasure in the midst of so much pain. Mike Von Frem, ABC News, Bay St. Louis.
And that is World News Tonight. Later this evening, ABC News will broadcast a special hour from the hurricane zone called In the Path of Katrina, 10 p.m. Eastern. Coverage continues on Nightline, and tomorrow on Good Morning America, a live exclusive interview with President Bush talking about response to the disaster. I'm Charles Gibson. For all of us at ABC News, good night.
The fury of Katrina. So many lives lost. So many lives forever shattered. So many now at risk. Tonight at 10/9 Central, from the powerful resources of ABC News, a must-see one-hour special, In the Path of Katrina.
Surprise fantasy house calls. Meet TV's gorgeous men of decorating. Next Oprah. Tomorrow at 3 here on ABC 7.
Want the best tasting steaks for your grill? Stop into Ralph's Butcher Shop. And now, during Ralph's 50% off steak sale, you'll save on T-bones, porterhouse, ribeyes, London broils, and more. Ralph's Butcher Shop, where great meals begin.
Marshall's Law number 6. You can't choose your DNA, but you can always choose your jeans. Designer fall fashions. Fabulous prices you'll fall for. That's Marshall's Law.
Man, the Mazda summer sales event could really be a problem. This Mazda 3 drives as good as they say.
And that Tribute.
And there's the Mazda 6.
Oh, man.
Which reminds me, where's...
Yeah.
It's the Mazdas on the Move Summer Sales Event. During our model year-end clearance, get up to $3,000 cash back on a 2005 Mazda 6 sports sedan. Offers end September 6th, so get to your Southern California Mazda